Hey guys, we have some breaking news here. I want to wait and see who all comes on. Is it too late for me to be doing a live? It's 11:29 where I am. Why the hell am I so awake right now? I was scrolling through my news. And by the way, I apologize for not making a video uh last week. I had a break. Ooh, one person liked. Okay. Trump 2028, hodl crypto, okay. Uh, let me get my glasses. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have some breaking news. So, Trump has said that he is terminating all trade negotiations with Canada over a video that the government of Ontario made, which seemingly misinterpreted Ronald Reagan. So the government of Ontario made some video about tariffs, trying to make Trump look bad, and they used Ronald Reagan as an example. And now, let me just read the article here. So, President Donald Trump announced today, that trade negotiations with Canada have been terminated over an advertisement featuring former President Ronald Reagan speaking out against tariffs. The Ronald Reagan Foundation just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement, which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. And this is not the government of Canada, it's the government of Ontario. Doug Ford, that idiot, that stupid fool, moron. Doug Ford is is the one of the dumbest leaders ever. I voted for him in 2018. I mean, I don't regret voting for anybody. At the time, he was good, but now he's stupid. Like all Canadian politicians, he's stupid. The ad was for $75,000. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the US Supreme Court and other courts, he continued. And if I click read more, Trump reported that tariffs are important to the US economy and national security. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated, Trump wrote. And the Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute said in a statement that the Ontario government created an ad campaign using selective audio of Reagan on April 25, 1987, delivering his radio address to the nation on free and fair trade. The ad misrepresents the presidential radio address, and the government of Ontario did not seek nor receive permission to use and edit the remarks. And then it says the organization said it is reviewing its legal options over the ad. So it looks like the government of Ontario might get sued by some pretty powerful people. And I agree with Hodl Crypto. Daniel Smith is the only smart politician in Canada right now. But I agree. And by the way, I support tariffs. Let me tell you, I support if your country can make it, create it, or extract it, it should get it from its own people. The only time you should be buying something from another country is if you cannot make it or extract it. You know, if you can't make something, grow something, or extract it, then get it from somewhere else. Otherwise, buy from your own people. And these Canadian politicians who are angry about, oh, Donald Trump's not buying our cars. Well, America can build its own cars. America can build its own cars. And when Trudeau went down to Mar-a-Lago and said, well, if you do these tariffs and you become protectionist, Canada will be bankrupt. Well, Trump said, well, oh well, maybe become the 51st state. And by the way, I don't want that to ever happen. Ever, ever. I would never want that to happen. But and you know the reason why I wouldn't want that to happen. But I can see why he said it. But I want to see if I can find the ad. Is there a way I can find this ad? I'm just now getting this news. I'm just now. Yeah, Rob McGuffin says Daniel Smith is smart. You support tariffs? Question mark. Yes, I support tariffs. I think every country. Okay, let me clarify myself. Let me clarify myself. Every country should buy from its own. Every country should buy from its own. But hang on, you're saying it's a tax on citizens. Hear me out. Let's take Canada for example. This is how if a smart leader would react to Trump's tariffs. Canada has a lot of natural resources. In fact, even more than America. They gold, bitumen, and even things that build iPhone. This is what Canada should do. Buy things that you can extract yourself, grow yourself, or make yourself. Canada can build iPhones. Canadians can build iPhones just as good as Chinese people. Why are Canadians? Why is the government of Canada allowing iPhones to be imported into Canada when Canadian workers can build iPhones? Why is Canada importing oil when Canada is drowning in oil? I mean, how ridiculous. How ridiculous. I support tariffs on oil. Canada doesn't need oil from any other country. Any country that tries to bring oil into Canada, it should be tariffed. Let's get the oil from Alberta. Now, Canada doesn't build, Canada doesn't grow watermelons. So import the watermelons. Import watermelons. Only import things that you cannot build, grow, or extract yourself. I'm very much in favor of tariffs. And why are Canadians bit, bitching and complaining about America saying, well, we want to build cars from Detroit? Fine. We will buy our cars from Oshawa and Oakville and Windsor. That's what a smart leader. And and I'll take it a step further. I'll take it a step further. Let's say, for example, America said, well, we're going to put tariffs on Canada. This is what I would say. Okay. Okay, Trump, Mr. President, very well. Fine. All power to you. This is what we're going to do. We're going to take 5 cents out of every dollar that we get in taxes. And we're going to put that money in a fund. And we're going to use that money so that if you impose tariffs on the things that we sell to America, we will use that money to pay the companies who had to pay that tariff that America imposed on them so that the tariff would be useless. That's what a smart leader would do, but we're not run by smart people in this country. We're run by dumb people. That's why Canada is in the ground right now. That's why I have come to the conclusion where by the time November hits, in fact a little after Christmas, I'm out of here. I can't deal with it anymore. I'm tired of using all the money that I've worked so hard on to fill up my car, which is not a big car, it's a small car, very economical. And it's like it takes almost all of my paycheck, and yet this country is drowning in oil. The country of Iran. I don't think Iran has more oil than Canada. I think Canada has more oil than Iran. But Iran, you know what they pay for oil for gas? Like 25 cents a gallon or a liter, whatever. How is that possible? I'm sick of this. Can't work. This cannot work. So Trump, and I'm not a big fan. And by the way, let me tell you something about Trump. If you guys were following me when I had my YouTube channel taken away, I'm not on the Trump train anymore. I'll support Trump when he does something good, but ever since he's mocked people for asking about when the Epstein files were released, and ever since I was done with him. And I said I was done with Trump. So I'm not a big old Trump guy. Anything he does, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. No, no, no. I'm not that type of person. But I'm telling you that Trump is doing the right thing by saying, "Hey, we can build cars. Why are we importing cars from Canada?" And you're talking to a guy from Oshawa. I'm an Oshawa boy. Let me read some of these comments here. It's a tax on citizens, reciprocal tariffs. We can't compete with the American market. Well, I'm not trying to compete with the American market. What I'm trying to do is just protect our own industries. I'm a protectionist. And I don't know when that became such a bad word. I'm a protectionist. Protection. Yes, I'm going to protect my country's economy. That's what a leader does. A leader is supposed to be elected to protect what? China's economy, America's economy, Europe's economy? No. Um, all our oil is processed in America, then the gasoline is sold back to us. That's true, and that's wrong. I think that we should process and what's the word? When oil, yeah, we should process our own oil. We have the capacity to do that. Dude, in Windsor, we send 85% of the cars we build to the US. I mean, if we build it, okay. If they want it, okay. The pipeline from Alberta goes to America, then goes up to Ontario. So the pipeline from Alberta goes to America, then go. Yeah, that is stupid. That is very stupid. We should be processing our oil in Canada. Don't know why I clicked this, but you are beyond repair. I'm beyond repair. Okay, if you say so. You still clicked on it though. Maybe I gave you some sense. Bruce Wallner saying I'm beyond repair. Okay. Taxes are insane. I will never cash out here. I agree with you. It's different. Oil easier to extract. Also owned by the government in Canada. Private corporations own the oil and gas. I've always said that when it comes to like energy, I think it should be national. I think there should be a national entity to. There should be at least one national entity. Not saying the oil and energy should be all nationalized, but there should be at least one to protect our interests. And that's a story for another time. Canadian market would not sustain the current auto production. Well, I mean, look, there's a lot of Canadians out there who want cars. And I'm not saying that we only have to serve Canadians. We can export our stuff as well. We can export our stuff as well. And if people put tariffs on our stuff, then as I said, we take 5 cents out of every dollar that we take in taxes and we use that money, put it in a fund. And if they impose tariffs, then we use that money to just pay those companies that bought our products. We pay the tariff back. Businesses are overtaxed. Canada punishes entrepreneurs. You got that right. You definitely got that right. Canada punishes entrepreneurs. That's why Canada is a country with companies that have been around for years. You've got like companies that have been around for years when things were good, and you don't see any new companies. You don't see any new innovation. You don't see any new things. It's just these few little companies, these three banks, these one or two oil companies, these one or two whatever I mean, you've never heard of new things being built in Canada because it's not allowed. It's like we're run by monopolies and duopolies and stuff like that. Data centers in the north, like in Nunavut or Northwest Territories, would be a good idea. I'm not. I'm not sure what you mean by data centers, but you've been saying this guy has been saying a lot of smart things, so I'm sure whatever this is probably smart. But yeah, let me see if I can find that video, that Ronald Reagan video that Doug Ford or Ontario put out. Ronald Reagan video, Ontario. So something from Sun News. Let's hear this. This is from Sun News. Okay, there's a commercial coming up, so let me wait for the commercial to die out, and then we'll listen to this.
When someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs.
And that's what they're doing.
And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time.
No, it doesn't have
Over
to.
the long run, such trade barriers hurt every American worker and consumer. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
But wait a minute. Let me pause this for a second. Let me pause this for a second. Hey, Phanox, what's up? Let me pause this for a second. Why is the government of Ontario making a video advocating for America's best interest? How stupid! Like, oh, America, this. First of all, by the way, let me tell you, if a country restricts imports of products that they can jolly well make themselves or grow themselves or extract themselves, I think that's a damn good thing to do. Okay? And I'm I don't know. I mean, let me tell you, Ronald Reagan was a. I mean, I thought Ronald. I wasn't born when Ronald Reagan was president, but from what I've heard about Ronald Reagan, he was a good person, but he was a neoliberal. He was. I would be exactly what do you expect from Ford? Reagan was more of a market based. I'm more of a populist conservative. I I'm very socially conservative, and I'm also to a certain extent fiscally conservative, but I'm there are a lot of things fiscally that I would want to do that many of you would say, like I believe in like healthcare and all this. Like there are a lot of things that I would do that maybe people on the left would want, but I would do it in an economically responsible way. So maybe even if what the Reagan Foundation said, like, oh no, this person is misleading what Reagan said, even if that wasn't true, I do know that Reagan and Thatcher and Mulrooney, they were more liberal, neoliberal, conservative. But anyway, let's continue with the ad. Let's continue. Let's continue.
Throughout the world, there's a growing realization that the way to prosperity for all nations is rejecting protectionist legislation and promoting fair and free competition. America's jobs and growth are at stake.
I mean, what a waste of money. I mean, how could the people how could the people of Ontario be tolerating that? I mean, the government of Ontario is trying to preach to the people of America using Ontario's tax dollars instead of trying to work with help themselves against what America has every right to do what it's doing. And instead of trying to help their own people, they're making an ad which allegedly is butchering things that Reagan said, and now the Reagan Foundation is threatening to sue the government of Ontario. I say, boom shakalaka goes right there. Yay and amen. I hope they do it. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is extremely ridiculous. And Donald Trump, as a result,
I'm sure he wasn't too happy, but it's real because it was
oh,
coming.
I don't want to hear what Doug Ford has to say. Doug Ford is a moron. Every time I hear Doug Ford, I want to puke. I want to puke. And now Donald Trump has said, well, because of this ad that Ontario has done, we are ceasing all talks for trade. I think Doug Ford made us. If I were the federal government, I would drag Doug Ford and say, you're an idiot. Keep your mouth shut. Doug Ford said he was going to. Remember when Doug Ford said, oh, um, uh, what does it say? FYI, when I search Canada, your live stream should have appeared at the top, but it did not. even after I sorted by upload date. Yeah, because YouTube is throwing a hissy fit that they had to concede to getting me back on YouTube again. So now they're going back to what they were doing before and shadow banning me. It's okay, but at least you're here now, Vive comments. You're here now, so don't worry about it. What you can do, Vive comments, is share my video with your friends. Share it when you find me. It'll be hard to find me, but now that you found me, share it. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your YouTube, share it on your TikTok, share it on whatever. Email people. I don't care. You send it. You found me now. They're shadow banning me. There's nothing I can do. Where have I been? I was blocked from you for years, and they only recently, a month ago or a few months ago, decided to bring me back up. But anyway, yeah. So and also the people, you guys can subscribe to me and hit the notifications that and hit the like button. That's how you beat YouTube's shadow banning. But anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up here now. I'm gonna let you all go to bed. It's getting a little late here. It's almost midnight here where I am, Eastern time. But I'm gonna say, look, Doug Ford made a stupid, stupid mistake. We're not, this age of arrogant globalist, just snootiness is not going to work anymore. And Donald Trump said, hey, you really effed up, Ontario. We were doing fine. And then Doug Ford with his stupid self thinking he's helping. And, to be honest with you, I don't think Doug Ford even knows what he's doing. I think Doug Ford is just trying to impress the people at the top. He's nothing like his brother. I mean, he's nothing like his brother. In fact, if you hear some of the stuff that I've heard, his brother, he scorned his brother. He was like the goody two shoes. Doug Ford was the goody two shoes, and his brother was kind of the black sheep. Always kind of bumbling. But he was more popular with people because people connected with him, and Doug Ford was like the asshole. And like, yeah, Doug Ford is that's what he is. He's not his brother. He's nothing like his brother. I think Doug should have died instead of his brother. And I say that, and people say it's harsh, but that's what I feel. Anyway, I'll let you all go to bed. That's what I see. But that bottom story, breaking news: Donald Trump is now saying Ontario fucked up Canada, effed up Canada. Doug Ford really royally effed up. Ontario effed up, Doug Ford effed up, and I think the people of Ontario and the people of Canada should smack Doug in the butt. You effed up. You're using an American president to say, "Oh no, no tariffs, no tariffs, no tariffs, no tariffs, no tariffs, no tariffs." Why are you preaching to the people of the United States? Nobody gives a damn what you think. If I were to talk to the average American and say, "Do you know who Doug Ford is?" They'd be like, who? Now, if I told you who was Rob Ford, I think a few more Americans would know who Rob Ford is. Yeah, wasn't he that crack boy, that crack smoking dude? He was kind of cool, though, He was kind of down there, but he was a crack dude. He was the crackhead. Doug Ford, who? Doug, what? Doug, who? And he's preaching to us. He's butchering our 40th president's speech and trying to preach to us when we want to make our own cars in Detroit and Ohio and wherever. And Canada could do the same for its country. And Doug Ford is doing this stuff and preaching to us. No, 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 no. Who is he? He seems like a prig. He seems like a little prig. All right, let's read these final comments. Maybe Doug needs to smoke rock. Maybe he should. Maybe he should. Maybe it would blow some of the cobwebs away. And Faye agrees, and I agree. Yeah, maybe crack would straighten up Doug's mind. Yeah, maybe it would blow his cobwebs away because his brain is not braining right now. It doesn't seem like it. Doug Ford comes across as the snooty little. I mean, did you guys ever have a sibling who was like perfect and your parents always liked him and and he or she would always kind of give you this look like look at you, you're not quite, but you would be like, but you would look at them and be like what's your problem? Like, I'm just doing what I'm trying to do in life. Like, I'm going to work. I'm going to school. I'm making my money. People love me. I have friends and they love me and I love them. And this person's like, that's what Doug Ford seems like. and people don't like him. I mean, he gets elected. You know why he keeps getting reelected? Because his opposition sucks. I mean, who would want to vote for Del Duca or Bonnie Crombie? Doug Ford is just lucky that his opposition is just weak and just terrible. Now let him get with somebody who let him get with Danielle Smith. Let him get with Gretchen or somebody like he'd be whooped out of. He'd be Doug Ford would be shining shoes. Anyway, I've talked for too much. Breaking news: Donald Trump has broken off trade talks with Canada because of stupid Doug Ford. This is the